What up guys, it's Bnet from We Make Best, and we've got a breakdown of the key cards for each class from Dynasty, focusing on Classic Constructed. If you're interested in a specific class, use the timestamps to jump straight to that part of the video. Starting off with the Illusionist, unfortunately most of the cards in the set are tailored towards Spectral Shields, which is not great for the only legal Illusionist, Dromai. Cards like Invoke Soraya and Spectral Procession could be good for the next light Illusionist hero that we get, but the only card Dromai gets are the new Dust cards. These are interesting designs, but they don't have go again, so you can't summon the dragon in the same turn. And also if your opponent had a popper for the dragon, they can just attack the dragon with the same popper. So I don't see these being very playable. Brute got a lot of extra support in this set, gaining extra cards that give value when discarding. Beaten Trackers are more reliable Scabskin Leathers. Although they block for 2 less, they can ensure a second action point on your combo turns using Berserk or Blood Rush Bellows. They should be an auto include in combo-oriented Rhinar decks to guarantee the action point, but they're probably worse than Scabskins in slower mid-range Rhinar. Savage Beatdown is a high damage card that can be played off of blue after a Wild Ride, a Pulping, Blood Rush Bellows, or Tear Limb from Limb. The card can be slightly awkward as it requires you to keep a 5-card hand so your opponent can pop off that turn beforehand. And at least 1 copy should be considered in all Rhinar builds because it's a solid damage card. Skullcracker is an auto-include 3 of in all Brute decks. It often allows you to get an extra claw attack due to the extra resource, and it gives you a 3rd card that benefits off being discarded, including Beast Within and Massacre. Berserk has solely spawned a new Rhinar archetype, the OTK Rhinar. Using go again discard outlets like Wild Ride, Pulping, Breakneck Battery, and Barraging Big... Fuck! What a shit card name! Berserk has solely spawned a new Rhinar archetype, the OTK Rhinar. Using go again discard outlets like Wild Ride, Pulping, Breakneck Battery, and Barraging Bighorn can allow you to present multiple attacks in a turn due to the discard replacing itself from Berserk's effect. Combine this with Blood Rush Bellows and you can easily OTK any hero in the game. Stay tuned for a deck tech on the new OTK Rhinar build that we'll have out soon. Big Rock equals Big Smack equals Big Good equals Happy Brute. Guardian only really got 1 playable card in Dynasty, even though they're out here running Iron Rot legs. Buckle is Guardian's only real upgrade in the set, and this card is similar to Terra Slender, which is very powerful. And the trio can be very good at threatening equipment such as Courage of Bladehold, Teklo Foundry Heart, Flamescale Furnace, Grasp of the Arcanite, and Stalagmite. It's a minor role player but a solid blue card, and it's probably an upgrade for Bravo, but Oldhim may just want his elemental blue cards over Buckle. Dynasty basically provided a whole new archetype for Katsu. Crouching Tiger Katsu is focused on long combat chains, adding tigers to banish and hand to present multiple Mask of Momentum triggers each turn. Tiger Swipe is the big payoff for the new Katsu archetype. This card allows you to replenish your Crouching Tigers, and pushing it over with an Ancestral Empowerment or Razor Reflex to ensure its on-hit trigger goes off allows you to attack with an extra lot of Tigers each turn. It's a core card for the Tiger Katsu, and it's an auto 3 of. Mind State of the Tiger is a solid blue card. It costs 0 for Kadachi's and Katsu's ability. It also blocks for 3 and provides you a Crouching Tiger, and it's a staple card in Tiger Katsu, should be a 3 of. Roar of the Tiger is another Art of War type effect for the Crouching Tiger deck. It provides a Tiger to set up your cards that combo off Tigers, and it busts the Tigers for the whole combat chain. It's a staple card in the Katsu Tiger deck. Note that the Tiger is also added to your hand, so you can use it with cards like Enlightened Strike and Art of War to benefit off those without using a real card. Flex Claws is a good breakpoint attack that provides a Tiger to satisfy any combo attacks. This is a core card for Tiger Katsu, and it should be an auto 3 of in red. Katsu got a few supporting cards that combo off Crouching Tiger. Pouncing Key is solid in red and blue, and it's effectively Blaze Headlong for Katsu, and also a 0 to discard to his hero ability or for Kadachi's. Key Unleash is a good finisher to play off of a Katsu trigger. Flex Claws off of a blue pitch into a Tiger into Key Unleashed is 11 damage off of a 3-card hand, which is a very good rate. Pouncing Key is great as a blue, and you probably want some amount of reds, and Key Unleashed is probably only a 1 of to search for with Katsu's trigger. Predatory Streak is the card that starts off all your pop-off turns. It provides 3 Tigers for all your combo cards, and it allows Tiger Swipe to create an extra 3. It's a good card that can be played in red and yellow versions. Warrior got some solid new Go Again enablers and weapon buffs. Spirit of Arena apparently is a good card, I can't see it. So up next is Ironsong Pride. This card's very strong in Dawnblade builds. It can snowball out of control and potentially cause Dawnblade to never lose counters. It's a broken play on turn 0 if your opponent is going first, and a solid card for Dorinthia that you can trim copies of when you're going first. Precision Press is a good value blue card that can give Go Again and make it slightly harder to block your first attack, on top of blocking for 3 when needed. It should be an auto 3-0 for Dorinthia decks. Puncture is very good against decks like Runeblade or Fire, where they're trying to keep their hand, and so they block your first attack with their equipment. This counts as a +4 from one card, which is a very high rate. It's probably not a 3 of, but it has high value as a tutor target for Singing Steelblade, as it allows you to get +5 out of 2 resources. Mechanologist got multiple new boost attacks and payoffs for boosting cards, a new weapon, and they even got their own version of Exodia. Hanabi Blaster is better than Talishar for the most part in full boost dash decks, and it can punish you in the late game where you need to block with multiple cards, as it's hard to replenish the counters, but Talishar probably would have been destroyed anyway. It's a good chain-ending weapon, but might only be a win more card. Upgraded Iron Rod, let's go! Pulse Wave Harpoon is a sweet card design that allows Dash to interact with the opponent's hand and force block, something which Dash struggles with due to her lack of on-hit effects. It's a great card for boost Dash, making her able to take opponent's key cards and win the race. Combined with Visiatronic Model 1, BIOS Update is basically a plunder run on steroids. The item goes straight into play and can affect the next card you boost. It also helps you push through combustible couriers or high-speed impact. It's an auto 3 of in boost dash builds. Construct Nitro Mechanoid is an interesting build-around card that is pretty hard to beat once in play. The only drawback is the deck building restraints and the setup requirements, causing you to run hyperdrivers but not trigger them to make sure they stay in play. It's probably unbeatable whilst in play but hard to set up. Crankshaft and Jumpstart are core in the new hyperdriver boost dash deck. Jumpstart essentially costs 0 when there's a hyperdriver in play because it refunds its initial resource cost, and Crankshaft helps keep hyperdriver in play and can ensure you have targets for Nitro Mechanoid. Stay tuned for a deck tech on the new Hyperdriver Dash. Dynasty has provided many new arrows or non-attacks with impactful on-hit triggers that allow rangers to punish decks for not blocking. Soundscour Great Bow is the bow that sets up all the new cards that gain benefits off aim counters, and it's a core card for the new Azalea decks. Heatseeker is a solid rate 1 for 5 arrow that can also reload your arsenal at the end of the turn. Heatseeker is probably an auto include in Lexi and Azalea decks. Mobilizing Shot is a solid card against Ninja's wide combat chains and Runeblades, stopping them from playing multiple attacks with Channel Mount Heroic or shutting down cards like Mordred Tide and Revelin Runeblood. It's a great disruption piece that allows Azalea to threaten opponents with more than just raw damage. This card should be an auto include in Soundscour Great Bow builds of Azalea. Deadeye is probably the best card Ranger got in Dynasty. This card is like a Nimblism with an extra effect. Azalea giving a card Dominate almost guarantees the effect from Deadeye, allowing you to take the best card in the opponent's hand. It's a solid disruption card that works insane with attack reactions. Deadeye should be an auto include in Great Bow builds of Azalea. Drill Shot is a good rate at 0 for 4 that can gain piercing and can knock off defense from equipments like Grasp, Shuko, Flamescale Furnace, or Crown of Providence. This card makes the opponent want to block with their equipment, but it also punishes them for doing so. Drill Shot's probably 3 red and 3 blue in the Great Bow builds of Azalea. Hemorrhage Shot is Ranger's own Command and Conquer. This arrow gaining Dominate and an aim counter from Azalea's ability provides another must block on hit effect in the aggressive matchup. Hemorrhage Shot is good in all colors and is almost always what you want to see off of Azalea's ability. For the most part, point to tip is better than Nimblism. Just be careful when running non-arrows like Ravenous Rabble and Enlightening Strike, as it only affects arrows in your arsenal. This card allows you to give aim counters to cards that you have put into your arsenal from your hand instead of the top of your deck. It's a good role player for Azalea decks with aim counter synergies. The new Runeblade cards don't fit too well into the current builds of Runeblade. The new cards look like they might fit into slower Viscerai builds focused on rune chant stacking. Looming Doom has a crazy interaction with Spellbound Creepers. After announcing your attack, you can respond to the Runechant triggers by using Creepers and playing Looming Doom as an instant. This adds all the counters to Looming Doom and your Runechant triggers still go off. It will be interesting to see how consistent this combo is, and it could be a good addition to Viscerai's anti-fatigue package. The new theme of pitch card mattering for card effects is very interesting for Runeblade and some great card design. Deathly Duet is basically extra copies of Spellblade Assault, and Blessing of Occult can provide extra Runechant production in a slower Viscerai build. Overall, Runeblade got some minor upgrades in Dynasty. Kano got some upgrades in Dynasty with Surge effects being added to his normal burn spells, and Icelander didn't get any new cards, thank God. Mind Warp is basically Yellow Zap, but it has minor use cases against literally 0 AB, so it's maybe a one-of in Kano sideboards as a tutor target for Lesson in Lava, but it's not an impactful card. Swell Tidings is a strictly better Voltic Bolt, but it rarely gives you a Ponder token as it just gets AB'd, but overall it's a good card. It takes the Voltic Bolt slot in Kano decks, but I doubt you want to run more than 3 of that effect. Brainstorm is an interesting build-around card that needs more support in extra card drawing spells. It's a potential sleeper card for future wizard archetypes. Aether Quickening is a strictly better Scalding Rain that can allow you to double spell against greedy heroes that don't want to pay for AB. It should be an auto-include in Kano decks. Blessing of Aether works similar to Stir the Aether Winds, but can be played off of Lesson in Lava when you have 1 floating resource and an extra blue available to activate Kano. It allows you to force your Surge triggers through and is a good card with Forked Lightning. It should be an auto-include in Kano decks, and that should replace any copies of Stir the Aether Winds. Prognosticate and Zap are extra 0-cost blue burn spells that block for 3. They're good upgrades for Kano and should be an auto-include 3 of in blue. Imperial Edict is good for decks like Kano that struggle with particular cards like Oasis Respite, and it's probably a solid 1 of in all Kano decks, but not really useful for other classes. If you want a more in-depth look at how Kano abuses Dynasty's newest cards, check out our latest Dynasty Kano Decktech, and we'll chuck a link on the screen now. Since this is the first time we're introduced to Arakni, the card pool is quite strong to allow Arakni to be instantly playable in CC. Arakni's best cards are Black Tech Whisperers and Mask of Perdition. These cards allow you to block multiple times and provide extra on-hit effects to your assassin attack action. These equipments are the reason Arakni is so strong. Eradicate, Leave No Witnesses, and Surgical Extraction. These are Arakni's core cards and provide some insane on-hit effects that can be secured with the various assassin attack reactions like Shred and Cut to the Chase. These cards are all instant include in Arakni and are the reason you want to play the hero. Check out our guide to Arakni for a more in-depth look at the newest FAB hero. That brings us to the end of the cards we think are viable from Dynasty. Let us know if there's any cards you think we missed for Classic Constructed. And stay tuned for the OTK Reinhardt and the Hyperdriver Mech Boost Dash Tech decks we got coming up soon. We out. Hey.